I'm like, hey, what's up, hello? Since your pretty ass told me she came in the door. I just wanna chill, got a sack for us to roll. Married to the money, introduced it to my soul. Showed her how to win.
Sorry, I was trying to be nice, but that bitch, you look a mess.
What's up, Messy Mob? So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So episode 7 leaves off exactly where we left off last episode, where the housemates are at the matchup ceremony, and then they find out they only received 2 beams. Technically 1 beam, because the other beam was already there because of Julia, Ruth, and Brendan. So they only received 1 new beam. I feel like I am a broken record at this point. I say this every single week when I do these recaps. They are making little to no progress. I don't know what it is about this group, but I'm telling you, they're just not good at this. Like, this is not their thing. So anyways, everyone is basically like disappointed because they only received 1 new beam, aka 1 new match. So Roz starts expressing herself, and immediately she is gaslit and told that she is terrifying and she's being too aggressive, which is really crazy how like they tried to, you know what I'm saying? Like they tried to put that little black, angry black woman stigma on her, which was so irritating. And Roz is so much better than me because I would have just been like, bitch, I can show you terrifying. Like, Roz was literally just expressing herself. Like, and of course, her emotions are through the roof. Like, y'all just had 1 beam. You know what I'm saying? So she's trying to give y'all constructive criticism. And she's trying to, you know what I'm saying, just hold y'all accountable. Because keep in mind, it was the men who chose the matches that week. So she was just talking to them, letting them know how she feels. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the 7th week. How are we not making any progress? You guys were supposed to choose the right people, blah, 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 because the men, when they were choosing their choices, they did stick with the same girls. So Roz is checking them about it, and then like Brendan and Ollie immediately try to shut her up. Like they're like, oh, nobody wants to listen to you because you're too loud, you're terrifying, you're this, you're that. You don't have to say it like that. But it's like, no, like this is really what y'all need to hear, baby. This is what you need to hear. So yeah, Ollie completely gaslit Roz. This made me so mad. Like I said, Roz is better than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, Roz didn't get up. She didn't go in Ollie's face. She wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't being aggressive. So how the fuck is she terrifying? Because she's trying to check y'all? And she wasn't even screaming at the top of her lungs. Like, everybody's emotions are flowing. Like, yeah, it may sound a little aggressive. She may be passionate about it. But for you to just gaslight her and just be like, oh, you're terrifying, I'm not going to listen to you, blah, 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 blah. It's just rude as fuck. It made me mad. I'm still confused as to why he said that shit. Like, if she would have got up in his face and would have been like hitting him and shit, like, I get it. But she didn't even do that. So for him to just say that was so fucking weird to me. So anyways, they go back into the house, and Roz is still rightfully so upset about what Ollie told her. And she even mentioned about how she feels like, you know what I'm saying, like, now I'm the angry black woman because all I did was try to express myself, which is so true. She literally was just expressing herself. Ollie didn't even let her finish what she was saying, and it's like, oh, you're terrifying, and I'm just going to dismiss what you have to say. And this is a thing with black women, but I feel like when all women in general, like when we get passionate about something and we try to express ourselves, then like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're the problem, we're too emotional, we're too aggressive. But I feel like when we say it nicely, it like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes in one ear and out the other. When we say it nicely, we get disregarded, we get dismissed. But as soon as we start cussing a bitch out, or raising our voice, or, you know what I'm saying, we actually start getting a little bit more passionate about it, we're the problem. But that's another conversation for another day, so let's move on. So off rip, Ollie does pull Roz aside the very next morning, and he did apologize. He was just like, I should not have called you terrifying. I was completely wrong for that. This, that, and the third. And he owned up to his wrongs. Literally, it looked like as soon as they woke up. Honestly, I don't know. I didn't really know how to feel about it. Like, I appreciate a man who owns up to his, that owns up to his mistakes and that can take accountability. But at this point, like, the damage is already done. Like, you already hurt her feelings. And I'm telling you, like, words really hurt. So you can tell, like, Roz was really hurt by it. Like, so the only thing they can do is just hug it out and move on. So that's exactly what they did. All while that is going down, Will and Maicha are basically chopping it up. And Will, again, oh my gosh. Like, I really love Will. I think that he is such a sweetheart, but I cannot wait until the day that he gets the fuck over Courtney, because I feel like this is like an everyday thing. I'll say every week. This is like an every week thing with him. Like, I feel like every episode he is just talking about the same thing. Like, boy, you know what I'm saying? Because first it was about Brooke and Leo, when him and Brooke was feeling each other, and then Brooke kind of left him in the dark with for Leo. And then now that Courtney is leaving him in the dark for Nate, so he's complaining and he's dwelling about it and he's overthinking it. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. Like, we love a man who's in touch with his feelings. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're going to do that, why not try to make yourself feel better and try to tap in with some different girls? Like, try to get to know other women in the house. Courtney didn't even give Will the chance to go into the truth booth before she moved on to the next guy and just left Will in the dark after that amazing ass date that they had. So to me, I'm just looking at Will like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're cute as fuck, you're cool, you're sweet, you're a kind-hearted guy. Why not just explore your options and make yourself feel better? Because you moping around the house all day while Courtney's out doing her thing with Nate and whichever guy that she feels like it at the time, that's not going to make you feel better. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to need Will to step it up. And Maicha is real, because Maicha literally told him that in a nutshell. She was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Courtney is clearly moving on. She's clearly leaving you where you are. So why not do the same? So I'm glad that she kept it real with Will. So Cammy does gather the house together, and she immediately addresses the elephant in the room. She calls out Roz and basically asks her, you know what I'm saying, like, how are you doing after last night? Roz told her, like, you know what I'm saying, she's still upset about it. Words do hurt, but, you know what I'm saying, it's whatever at that point, and she can't do anything about it. And Cammy, which I really do appreciate Cammy was just like, you know what I'm saying, us as black women, when we express our feelings, our passion gets mistaken for anger and aggression. So she was like, I totally feel you. And she was just giving Roz words of encouragement, which I really do love. Anyways, enough about that situation. Julia, Ruth, and Brendan did come back to the house to help the couples. I'm sorry, not even couples, child. To help the housemates basically just find their match. And they serve as their little love advisors this episode. I thought it was cute. So the honeymoon suite has literally, like, you can see the maturity in both Julia, Ruth, and Brendan. At least I do. Okay, y'all might not, but I do. Because I thought that both of them were a little childish, but I feel like this episode really did show their mature side. So, while Julia, Ruth, and Brendan are making their rounds and speaking to the housemates, basically offering their advice to them and how they should go about things, Will and Courtney do sit down. And this conversation was honestly tiring. I just don't even know why Will is even still giving Courtney the time of day at this point, but let's talk about it. So, off a rip, y'all, Will is like, it's not funny, but it's like, I just don't understand how he's not seeing all of these red flags. So Will and Courtney sit down, and Will is like, immediately, he's like, I feel like we have the most authentic connection in the house. I really do feel like you're my match. And you know what Courtney says? He says that, and Courtney's like, really? Oh, that's nice. Like, girl, at least pretend to fucking care. Honestly, if I was Will, I would have walked away right then and there. But again, yeah. I feel like Brooke is repeating herself to Will, and I just feel like Will is just not. I feel like Will is so infatuated, and I'm not even gonna say in love, but I feel like he likes Brooke so much. I'm sorry, not Brooke. He likes Courtney so much that he's like blinded by like all the red flags that she's showing him. So after this pointless ass conversation, it shows everyone in the house chopping it up, especially with Brendan and Julia, because again, they came into this episode basically serving as their little love advisors. So they're talking to everybody and just saying how the honeymoon suite is treating them and how they feel like they should go about each situation. And in specifics, Julia, Ruth, and Leo are laying on the couch and they are chopping it up about Brooke. So honestly, the fact that Leo is still stuck on Brooke after this is the 7th fucking episode, okay? So this is the 7th episode. Leo is still stuck on Brooke. I feel like I talk about this every single recap. I'm honestly just over it. It's just like, you look so stupid. You guys were literally a confirmed no match at the beginning of the season. You're still stuck on her weeks later. Get over it. Then when Julia Ruth was trying to hold him accountable and tried to offer him some advice, he's like, I can't believe she had the nerve to say that. She's so wrong. Like, he just doesn't let anybody hold him accountable. Even the episode before, when Brooke literally tried to tell him, like, let's start playing the game. Like, we need to separate ourselves from each other. He's like, no. So, honestly, I'm so over Leo. Meanwhile, Brooke and Ollie are by the pool, and they're basically in agreement that they want to get to know each other more and basically explore to see if they could be each other's matches. Which honestly, up to this point, I really don't care for either one of them, but I am proud of Brooke. I will say this. I am very proud of her for, you know what I'm saying, for taking the initiative to move forward from Leo. So because they technically didn't do a challenge, Julia, Ruth, and Brendan, it was basically their choice to choose someone to go into the truth booth instead of the whole house voting. So Julia, Ruth, and Brendan, they, you know what I'm saying, they talk for a little bit, they lay out their options, you know what I'm saying, bring up the hows and the whys and the whos, and they come back to the group and then they tell them that they want Ollie and Brooke to go into the truth booth. They go down there, and I'm not even going to waste y'all time. They were a match. Honestly, I was so happy for them. I know I don't care for either one of them, but progress is progress. I was so proud of them. I hope that they have a wonderful time in the honeymoon suite. So, of course, Ollie and Brooke were happy. The house was happy, except for bitch ass, crybaby ass Leo. So they came back into the house. Everybody was, of course, congratulating them. Leo walked away. He went outside and started crying like the crybaby that he is. Like, I'm so tired of Leo, y'all. Anyway, so Brooke ends up going outside, and honestly, I don't even know why she did that, but she did it, y'all. So eventually, Leo is sitting there crying and whining and ends up, I feel like, I'm not going to say manipulate. No, I'm going to say manipulate. So he ends up mentally manipulating Brooke, and then Brooke started crying. But I'm so happy because Brooke did go back inside. She did not spend, I feel like once she started crying and realized what he was doing, she did not want to spend another second with him. She went inside with the rest of the house and continued to celebrate. So anyways, the next morning comes around and Cece and Mikey are on the couch chilling and laying down and talking and opening up to each other. So with this scene, we basically got to know Cece a little bit better. We got a little glimpse into how she grew up. You know what I'm saying? She said that she didn't grow up with any money. She basically grew up poor. Honestly, when I heard her story, I was touched by it, but I would, you know what I'm saying? I would have expected Cece to go into the experience like a little bit more humble because of how she was brought up, but she's not humble at all. You know what I'm saying? I just don't care for Cece, honestly. I just feel like the way she treats and deal with people is just not right, in my opinion. Especially, like, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, you had a rough upbringing, so I would expect you to be, like, a little bit more humble, but she's not. She's not at all. And yes, I'm still salty about how she did my dog Clay. I'm still salty about it. Whatever, don't come for me. I'm still mad she did him like that. So everyone is on their way to the matchup ceremony. It is the girls' choice now. So immediately Cammy does ask Leo before the ceremony starts. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Girl, you so fucking messy." And Leo sits up there and fucking lies, talking about "Yeah, I'm good. I was sad at first, but I'm so happy that they're each other's matches. I wouldn't choose anybody else to be with her." And I'm like, boy, you are such a fucking liar. The night before, you was trying to mind fuck her into thinking that she was wrong for trying to move on. Anyways, the girls start to choose. And you can tell that the girls are trying to strategize a little bit because they are choosing different guys that they have never chosen before. Except for Cece. Cece still chooses Mikey. Clearly, Cece didn't catch on to the other girls choosing different guys. But again, Cece is going to be Cece. Like, girl, if Anissa went without choosing Akel and Maitra went without choosing Hamudi, I promise you could have went without choosing Mikey. But it didn't even matter because all of that strategizing did not work out in their favor because they literally had one extra beam. So again, this is just another confirmation that this group is terrible at what they are doing. They have one simple task and they fail every time. So that was the very end of episode 7. Honestly, this episode as a whole really wasn't that bad to me. I was very glad to see that they had, they finally got somebody into the truth booth and it was successful. But again, at the end of the episode, it just fell flat. So let's go ahead and get into episode 8. So for episode 8, instead of breaking the episode down minute by minute, second by second, I'm just going to talk about some key points and then y'all can just tell me how you feel in the comment section. So the episode starts off with the morning after their horrible ceremony, and Mikey pulls Cece aside to basically tell her that he feels like their little situationship is not going to work out, especially because the night before they only had one beam. So he just feels like at this point he's not confident that she is his match at this point. He's just like, there's one beam, but I feel like we're not that one. And he expresses that she is the type of person that needs a lot of reassurance, and he just feels like she needs more than what he can give. So he basically was like, I'm just gonna nip this shit in the bud right now. Cece, honestly, I don't know. So she definitely reacted better than how she reacted with Brendan. But again, this is literally the second time that this happened to her, because I don't know if y'all remember earlier in the season, Brendan did the exact same thing to her, okay? So yeah, so I think at this point she's just a little over it. You know, this is the second time that this has happened to her. So she just took it for what it was, and she was like, you know what? If you feel like that, cool. Maybe if we really aren't each other's matches, and she just left it at that. And then she really didn't say anything else. She literally was like, goodbye, Mikey, and then she got up and left. Karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. Like, I don't care what no one says. She fucking just threw Clay in the dumpster and just did him so wrong to be with Mikey, and then Mikey fucked you, and now he don't even want to deal with you no more. Mikey doesn't even care about you enough to you know what I'm saying, to make it to the truth booth. He's just like, you know, you're not my match. So enough about that situation. The rest of the house is chilling. They're having a kumbaya moment. Everybody is getting along. They're even playing fuck, marry, and avoid. And I thought it was pretty cute for everybody to be getting along and, just good vibes. So eventually, of course, Cammie gathers the whole house so she can announce another underwhelming, boring, grade school ass game that they call challenges on this show. Like, honestly, the game was so unmemorable and boring. I don't even remember what they were doing. I just know that it's another one of those challenges. Honestly, when the house was playing Marry, Fuck, and Avoid, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what it's called. Fuck, Marry, Avoid. When they were playing that was more interesting than the actual challenge itself, which honestly says a lot. But they go in, they do the challenge. And to make a long story short, Taylor and Will do win. This did not surprise me. Not about Will, but Taylor. I just feel like Taylor is literally winning all of these challenges. But that's besides the point. So Taylor sacrifices her date for Hamoudi and Maicha to go on a date because Hamoudi and Maicha are like extra booed up right now. Everything is just perfect with them, but they have not been on the date yet. And you already know, everybody wants to see them go into the truth booth. And Will keeps his date and he chooses Danielle, which honestly surprised me. I actually think that they would make a really good couple, but I just didn't see them talk prior to this. But I'm pretty sure they had some conversations off camera, clearly, if he chose her for a date. So after this, it does show Hamoudi and Eduardo talking to Do, and basically they're just trying to tell her that, you know what I'm saying, she's just a little bit too negative sometimes, and she just needs to be more open-minded when it comes to just letting some guys in. Because my girl Do is just very headstrong. She's just the type of girl where, because yes, they're playing a game, but she's just like, I'm not gonna give nobody a chance that I know that I don't like or I feel like we're not gonna last. But at the same time, the boys, Hamoudi and Eduardo, are just like, well, that's kind of the game. You have to get to know everybody before you judge them. But Do wasn't trying to hear that. And that was basically their conversation. It was really funny though, because they pointed out how Do is like always pointing out the negative and everything. And like as they were talking to her, she was literally doing it. So I thought this was pretty funny. So Nathan and Cece are in the pool, caking and kissing. This honestly does not surprise me. I feel like both of them really get around, especially Nate. Especially Cece too, but Nate really gets around. I honestly, at this point, I don't even think that Nate is there for love. I just feel like Nate is really just on a free vacation, living his best single life. And the fact that Mikey literally broke it off with Cece that fucking morning, and then Cece is already kissing on someone else, like, absolutely did not surprise me. So Hamoudi, Maicha, Will, and Danielle all are present for their date. They are at the bowling alley. They're having fun. It is nothing but good vibes as usual. Eventually, after they do finish their little group bowling session, they do break off into their little couples and they are vibing at this point with each other. Hamoudi and Maicha went first, and honestly, they are so adorable. They just make my heart melt. I really do love them together. And I can admit when I'm wrong, okay? Because initially when they first started to get to know each other, in one of my recaps, I was just like, yeah, Maicha and Hamoudi, I just don't see it for them. But I was completely wrong. They are so cute together. On the other hand, Danielle and Will are also vibing. They really did spend their date talking a lot, which was fine with me. It was very, like, even though they were just talking the whole time, like they weren't being sexual or like very hands-on, it was so intimate to me because they were talking like they were just listening to each other and taking in everything they said, and they were looking each other in the eyes and talking. To me, it was very romantic. It was still intimate to me. So yeah, I really did like their date as well, and I really am excited to see where Danielle and Will go. Also, it is so refreshing to just see Will be happy. I feel like the first two women that he, poured his heart out to and started to catch feelings for, I feel like they did him dirty a little bit. So it is just so refreshing to see Will happy. So I'm really excited to see where him and Danielle's relationship go. So after the dates, Cammy, the housemates, Will, Danielle, Hamoudi, and Maicha, they all meet back, and Cammy breaks the news that Sam is no longer going to be with them. Sam is one of the housemates. In my opinion, he did fade into the background. So when Cammy told them this, she was just like, he has some personal issues going on, which caused him to go home. And she basically told them that his perfect match will be revealed at the matchup ceremony. After Cammy breaks this news, the two couples who went out on their dates did recap their dates with the whole house, and then Cammy revealed the results of who will be entering the truth booth, which was Hamoudi and Maicha. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie, they were not a match. This absolutely broke my heart. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I was so upset. I'm like, because you know what I'm saying? Like, a part of me was like, they're too good to be true. But the other part of me was like, nah, like, they just meshed too well. Like, they're gonna be a match. They're definitely gonna be a match. Fuck no, they were not a match, y'all. They were not a match. So, of course, they go into the house. Everyone is consoling them because you can visibly see it on their face that they are upset. Yeah, it was definitely not a good time. So eventually they do go to the matchup ceremony again, and Cammy does reveal Sam's perfect match. And it just gets worse from here, y'all. So Sam's perfect match was Maicha. And Hamoudi is just like, what the fuck? Like, he was hysterical. You know what I'm saying? Because you just find out basically the woman that you love is someone else's perfect match, and her perfect match is not even here, and you just found out that she's not your perfect match. So yeah, I would have showed out just like he did. So this matchup ceremony is the girls' choice. So the girls pick their choices, and they all sit down and wait for the results for the matchup ceremony. So they did get 3 new beams, but again, okay, 3 beams is not good, especially on the 7th week. But since this group is so bad, like, the progress just seems great. It is great. Like, it's great for them, if that makes sense. So that was the very end of episode 8. But y'all, I totally forgot to mention, while the couples were out on their dates, fucking Nate being Nate is just macking on every female that gives him the attention. So it caught up with his ass that day. Taylor and Cece went upstairs with him, and it just didn't end well. Taylor started coming for Cece. She's just like, Cece, basically telling Cece that she gets around, like, in a nice way. And Cece was like, well, girl, you've been with how many guys now? Like, you still haven't found your match yet? Okay. And Taylor was just like, well, that's basically why we're here, right? And the fight was just really pointless. Like, y'all are fighting over Nate. He probably don't want either one of y'all. Nate is just here to have a good time. Like, so the fact that y'all are even arguing over him is fucking beyond me. Honestly, Taylor did initiate the argument, and she was, in Cece's face talking her shit. Cece didn't say anything when the girls was in her face, but when they got separated and Cece went downstairs and Taylor was upstairs, Cece was talking that shit, and my girl Taylor had to check her from upstairs. Okay? But yeah, the argument was very stupid. That's probably why I honestly forgot to mention it. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. So we're going to go ahead and see what the girls were talking about on Twitter when it comes to Are You the One? So let's get into that. So this one says, LOL, Brooke saying she goes for guys that aren't as good looking as her. Hope Leo hears that shit. Girl. This one, I'm not gonna lie, this tweet had me dead because I did not even peep that. I do want to know his reaction when he's seen that. Because he be all in his feelings crying over this girl, and this girl don't even think that you look the par. So this tweet says, Maicha is Sam's match. This is just not her week. No, that definitely was not her week. I felt so bad, but I feel like my girl, she took it well. You know what I'm saying? She's just like, girl, at the end of the day, that match test can say whatever the hell it wants, but I know who I'm in love with at this point. So, I love Maicha. This one says, how many times is Cece gonna let these men hit it and quit it? I could not agree more. Cece is all over the place. Cece is definitely for the team. I'm not going to lie. Cece has been through 4 guys and neither one of them wanted to go into the truth booth with her because she either fucked it up or they just didn't see it going anywhere with her, which says a lot. And yes, I'm still mad about how she did Clay. Don't even do me. So y'all, Miss Vendetta scam was on they ass this day. So her first tweet says, I'm finally watching and surprise, surprise, we have another matching picture daily challenge. Hashtag are you the one? Boring. I totally agree. It is just so lazy on their part. Y'all telling me y'all can't come up with better challenges than this? Girl, I'm tired of talking about it though because I sell out every week about it. And the second tweet says, Nathan's slut ass has been through the girls. And he has. This man is with 3 different girls every single episode. Like I said before, at this point, y'all, I don't even think that Nate is there for love. He is just living his best single life. You know what I'm saying? I really could think that he could care less who his match is. You know, because he's been with damn near everybody. Courtney, Julia Ruth, Taylor, Cece, everybody, girl. Everybody. So that's the end of my recap. Thank y'all so much for sticking with me. If y'all made it this far, leave a comment. Leave a comment on how you felt about these 2 episodes. Let me know y'all thoughts. Whether y'all agree or disagree, I really don't care. But just let me know how y'all feel and we can talk about it in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.
Then I swear I love her, how she with the